Carolina.
Your chance to win a $2,500 game day experience is closer than you think. Make a qualifying purchase in any participating Fairmont and use your app at the register for your chance to win our ultimate Raiders game day giveaway. Each week, one lucky customer will win a hotel stay, $1,500 shopping spree, game tickets to a Raiders home game, and more. Score! Every day is game day, exclusively at Terribles. Visit Terribles.com for game details.
This is John Barr, General Manager at Finley Toyota. Been thinking about getting a new truck? Now's the time. We've got huge incentives on the powerful Toyota Tundra and Tacoma. These trucks are built to handle anything you throw at them. With these deals, they're more affordable than ever. But these offers won't last. Come see us at Finley Toyota before they're gone. We'll make sure you drive off in the truck you've always wanted at the price you deserve. Finley Toyota, Nevada's #1 selling dealership at the Valley Auto Mall in Henderson.
Get ready to raid the pubs this football season at BT's Gold, BT's Place, Great American Pub, and Sierra Gold. Enjoy ice-cold $4 pints of Coors Light, Topo Chico, and $5 pints of Modelo. Plus game day food favorites starting at just $2. Com 92.3 and Raider Nation Radio 920 will be live at various BT's Tavern locations on game days, with a chance to win free tickets to catch Vegas at Allegiant Stadium with a $100 Allegiant Bar Credit, $100 Uber card, and team gear wear throughout the game. Your home for football and fun is at BT's Gold, BT's Place, Great American Pub, and Sierra Gold.
One is not the loneliest number when it comes to Mojave Desert tortoises. In southern Nevada, there are over 150,000 Mojave Desert tortoises in captivity, and the numbers are growing at an alarming rate. The overpopulation results in unwanted hatchlings, illegal dumping, and highly contagious diseases. Please stop backyard breeding and never release your pet tortoise into the wild. Maintain one tortoise per household and make sure to spay or neuter your tortoise. Find out more at
let's get ready. All right, man. Who do we got? We got the GM Tom Telesco going to join us right now. If you have a question for Tom Telesco, which is respectful, and educational, maybe I'll get it in here.
You're listening to the JT the Brick Show, where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
What's up?
It's time for JT the Brick.
You want a conspiracy theory? I'll give you one. There's no way you can sit in the boardroom on Park Avenue where NFL headquarters are and say the Raiders are going to open up with 2 on the road against the Harbaugh brothers. What are the odds of that? You're giving us the Atlanta game on Monday Night Football at the end of December. Thanks. Really appreciate that. Now, what you want to thank you, Roger? He just scoffed and mocked us. Like, you're nothing. We're nothing.
JT the Brick.
I'm defending the Raiders. You should be defending the Raiders. Very simple. Make the Raider Nation stand up, sound off like you got a pair. It's your time now to be heard. You got a flagship station that isn't compromised up north with a baseball team going out of business and another San Francisco football team and hosts that are in the pocket. You got me at the front gates of the Raider Nation trying to help you have a voice on this. So let's roll.
And now,
Raider Nation unite.
Here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT in the heart of the Raider Nation, the flagship of the Silver and Black. Raider Nation, 9:20 a.m. We're on that global site the Raiders have on their app. You got the phone, you just click on the app, you get the Raiders app, and you're ready to go. And we're ready to go today. We got a big show lined up, and we want to hear from you. And you got to get in here because Carolina's coming to town, and it's the home opener for the Silver and Black. So am I nervous? No. But the Red Rockets coming in, Andy Dalton, he's 4-0 against the Raiders. Or 3+1, or whatever it is. Yeah, guys, we got the Red Rocket coming in here, and this guy's a lot better than Bryce Young because he's mature. He's won a lot of games. He's kind of like Gardner Minshew. That's who he is. The Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. When people go, the Raiders don't have a quarterback, I go, really? Gardner Minshew's number 1 in the league in completion percentage. He's number 2 in the league in yards. What do you mean they have no quarterback? Did you watch last night? Jalen Hurts play? Did you watch some of these teams around the league? We got Minshew Mania. He's won games. I'm not saying he's elite. He's, Andy Dalton for 14 years is a good player in this league. He's no bum. He's won a lot of games in this league. He's won playoff games. So Andy Dalton, does he concern me? Yeah, he concerns me because he's going to take the playbook and he's going to slim it down and he's going to try not to get sacked. He's not going to run around like Bryce Young, just running all over the place, throwing the ball out of bounds. He's going to get the ball out quick. And he's going to look at Jacorian Bennett and say, excuse me, number 0, you haven't played in this league? I'm going to attack you the whole game. Let's see what you got. And they're going to try to run the ball, and they're going to play physical. You know how fired up? Do you understand how fired up Carolina's going to be to get their first win of the year in Vegas? They've never played here. They're going to want to win this game. So you better be ready, man. This ain't the show to come in here and start cracking Modelo's and saying, we're going to win this thing by 20 points. How dare you call this show this week and tell me that the line's gone already down because people are going, oh, the Red Rockets playing. We got a game to play, man. And everything needs to go forward. We don't need 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. So we need to keep moving forward and get to 2-1. 2-1 looks really good around here. But you got to take care of it. And I know a lot of Raider fans should get ready and be ready to go. We're brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue, 5 to 7, midnight to 2, the best happy hour in town. You'll find me now at the Great American Pub right off of Buffalo. They opened up a great new sports bar over there, and it is fantastic. It is fantastic. So Great American Pub, part of the PT's empire, and it's right there. Go have some fun there. Check it out. They got all the helmets there. They have unbelievable gaming. The menu, Great American Pub's menu is really good. And go check it out. It's a new location, not too far from Durango, the new casino that opened there. So really cool place to be. Tom Telesco is going to join us here momentarily, the GM of the Silver and Black. Really looking forward to congratulating him on his first win as the GM of the Raiders here and what's going to happen going forward here with the roster and what he thinks about some of the players here and the vision of the Raiders going forward. So that's what we're going to do here. In the first 20 minutes of the show, Tom Telesco is going to join us, and then we have a guest along the way, Jeff Sherman over at the Westgate. How about that game last night between Atlanta and Philly? Saquon Barkley drops the ball. Game's over. If he catches the ball, pretty much the game's over. Why are they throwing the ball when they can hand it off to Saquon Barkley? Why? Do you know the collapse that Philadelphia had? They had the game won. I tweeted it out. I got hit by Twitter. I said, Atlanta, welcome to the 0-2 club. I kept it up there. Scott Van Pelt on the field before SportsCenter did the tease and said, coming up next, reaction from the Philadelphia locker room. He thought Philly was going to win. And Kirk Cousins comes back. And that was one hell of a comeback. And I thought that that's a big win. And Philadelphia loses. And Saquon Barkley plays his first ever home game in Philly, and they booed him. They booed Santa Claus. Michael Irvin almost broke his neck. They booed him. I mean, these Philly fans are lunatics. They're crazy. They're absolutely nuts. And good to see that. So they end up losing the game, and we'll get into all the games here as we get out of week 2 and go into week 3. But the GM of the Silver and Black, Tom Telesco, is kind enough to join us. Tom, congratulations on your first win as the GM, and wow, what a win, an emotional win it was. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it was it's a great win, great team effort. Thought Antonio had the players and coaches really well prepared to play a really good team, good organization in a tough environment, and went in there and, hung on for 3 quarters and then really came together in the fourth quarter and on offense and defense and special teams, which was a big part of it too, and able to pull that one out.
Tom, it was amazing. The last 12-10 in the game. I mean, you're talking about playing under pressure for the players. I mean, you're in the middle of the game. You could be staring at 0-2 if you don't win. And you're down 10. It's not like you're up 10 and you're holding on for the win. You're down. And then it just seemed like everything clicked. Everything you worked on in Costa Mesa, the offseason, building the roster, the confidence came together. Talk about the final 12 minutes of that game and how everything just seemed to fit perfectly.
That's a great point, is that the work that you put in the off-season program here and then the work that we put in the training camp at Costa Mesa, then you come back here and you keep practicing and keep repping it. And, it's going to show on game day, but you're not so sure when. So the big part of it is just to keep your confidence and kind of keep coming. And we knew in the fourth quarter, not only do we have to get a couple scores, we're going to get some stops as well. And we're going to have to get some good field position from special teams. And, I think once we're able to do that, I think that I came down to the field with about 6 minutes to go. And you could feel the energy on the field, or at least I could feel it. And, I watched the game from the press box, so you're enclosed, you're behind the glass. You don't have that same feel. And by the way, when I came down to the field, I didn't realize the amount of Raider fans are in that stadium. I'm walking through the concourse, and I hear the crowd roar. So I'm thinking Baltimore made a play. I come out of the tunnel, and it was the catch that Devontae made down the sidelines. And so seeing Raider Nation fill that place was pretty cool. But getting back to it, the guys just had a belief going into the game what we had to do. And even though you're down 10, the game's not over yet, and we had to get some stops. And the defense did a great job getting some stops, getting the ball back. And the offense started to finally click a little bit and move the football, and we finished that game off.
Tom Telesco, the GM of the Raiders, joins us. What do you think of the moment, if you didn't see it in real time, but then you heard about Max going over to Gardner Minshew when he was struggling early and really saying, "We got you. We will get stops." I thought that was a monster moment in the history of the Las Vegas Raiders, because we've seen Oakland Raiders do that. LA, we don't see it a lot. It just doesn't happen where a defensive captain comes off the field and gets into a quarterback in a positive way and then inspires that quarterback. What'd you think of that, Tom?
Yeah, it's pure leadership. I think it's just a great example for every high school player, high school team, college team, to see how that works. There's a team that has to come together and play together. And there's going to be certain times of the year where one side of the ball has to pick up the other side of the ball. And you never know when that's going to be. And this game, it wasn't so much a character builder for us. I just think it's a character verifier. It shows what we have in this locker room. And it obviously shows what Max has with this football team, and how players respond to him and how he handles tough situations. I mean, we're in a really difficult environment to play in against a good team. Wasn't exactly going the way we wanted it to go, and he never lost confidence, and he backs his guys, and that's just incredible to see.
Tom, I know you want to get the running game going. Now, it's a big focal point with Luke Getsy coming in, running the football, the offensive line now trying to play better going forward, and Zamir White and Alexander Madison. What are you seeing up there? Because I know you want to establish the run, even though the passing game really clicked in the third and fourth quarter in Baltimore.
Yeah, it has to get better. It just does. And we'll keep working at it. And, it starts with the offensive line. And a lot of it's just assignment and technique. That's really what it comes down to. You can rep that in practice. Sometimes people think it's a cliche to say this, but it's not. But for a really positive run game, it takes all 11, not just the offensive line. It takes the tight ends, it takes the receivers, it takes the quarterback, even small things about ball handling and carrying out fakes. That all kind of comes into the run game. So we need to get the offensive line going up front. That has to keep coming. The tight ends and receivers have to do their jobs. I mean, most of your big runs in football come from the center getting out the linebackers, and then your receivers and tight ends blocking downfield. So it takes all 11 in that run game to make it go. We're going to keep working at it. We know there's a lot of improvement that has to be made there if we want to get to where we want to go.
GM Tom Telesco is our guest. Wow, Brock Bowers. So for the audience that didn't hear you when you came on with me after the draft, when he was dropping towards you at that pick, and a lot of analysts were saying, what's going on with Brock Bowers? I mean, Denver could use him, the Jets. I thought he'd be perfect with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. All those other teams, Atlanta went with Michael Penix, and all of a sudden you're sitting in the war room with the coach and the owner, and Brock Bowers is coming to you. You scouted him. You knew what he did, the only two-time Mackey Award winner, two-time national champ. You got him now, and he's off to a hell of a start.
It's been fun to watch. I mean, we knew, coming off last year, just to keep it simple, we had to score more points on offense, and we felt like he was a player that had that capability for us. It's uncommon for any rookie to start off the way he started this season, but he's kind of an uncommon player. He really is. I mean, he's not only physically gifted with athletic ability and speed and hands, but he just has a really natural feel for the game and a great amount of toughness with how he plays. Like, he finishes every run. He plays with enthusiasm. He plays with an edge. And he's done a really nice job with us starting off this year. We needed him and Devontae to step up, certainly in the second half the other day, and both of them did and made some big plays for us down the stretch. But Brock's been doing a heck of a job for us.
Tom, it seems like this offense, we know what we have because of Devontae. He's a future gold jacket, and Trey's fast. And Jacoby is one of the classiest guys in the league, and I don't even consider him a number two. He'd be a one on a lot of other teams with Michael Mayer and what you have there. And, a lot of fans are telling me, well, throw it to set up the run or run it to set up, go play action. It's just great now. And Luke Getsy, we know what he knows about this team. He worked with this team all off season to have the ability to kind of pivot and quickly change a game plan or go with who's hot. That's what I liked about Devontae and Brock in the second half. Devontae is one of the best players in the league. You're down 10, and all of a sudden Devontae gets going, and you could feel that on the sideline.
Yeah, and I think that's why balance is so important, and it's not always necessarily a 50-50 run-pass balance, but it's more of a balance of getting the ball to your playmakers, whether that's tight ends, whether it's receivers, or whether it's backs, either carrying the ball or out of the backfield. So you have to have some different options there. You want to have a good menu that our offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, can go to depending on the situation and depending how teams are playing us. And when someone's number is called, we need them to step up and make a play. We did that later in the game against the Ravens. We have to be much more consistent with that. We can't go in every game thinking in the fourth quarter we're going to try and wear some people out, and now we're going to start moving. So we have to start that earlier. That's what we're going to start working on this week.
As we wrap this up, I wanted your opinion on, Tyree goes down, Malcolm's on IR. You bring up players from the practice squad, you sign another player. That's really your wheelhouse, right? You're scouting guys, your scouting department, off season, just looking for maybe that one player that could come in and help you in the short term. And if he proves he could be here long term, that's great. What has that process been like for you? Because with Christian Wilkins, your star signing in the offseason, and what a game he had and Max had, but the depth of the defensive line going forward and what you're seeing.
Yeah, every year this is what you're doing, and it doesn't matter what position it is. Week one, usually something going on, usually injury wise. You have to try and have to have the strongest. We could dress 48 players on game day, the strongest 48 you can, strongest 53, and then the strongest practice squad, because all these guys are going to play at some point. Just the way this league works. And, we had a couple injuries on the perimeter, on the defensive line, that we had to bring, a couple of guys in that kind of help us a little bit, that we think have a chance now. They help us short term, but long term. And we've seen some younger players like Janarius Robinson and Charles Snowden do some really good things, and hopefully get Tyree back here pretty soon. But on both sides of the ball, it just can't be your 11 starters. You have to be able to have some depth to go to as you move through the season. And even right now, like Christian Wilkins and Max are playing a ton of snaps, and we want our best players out there, but we have to have some players that can step up and take some of that load off them. But even seeing a player like Adam Butler had a great game against Baltimore. I thought he played really well in week one. He's talking about 6'4", 300-pound defensive lineman with just great hustle, quickness and hustle, as far as chasing plays down sideline to sideline, and that's contagious. Obviously, we see it with Max all the time. We've got a lot of other guys, as far as Christian Wilkins and John Jenkins and Adam Butler, that can do the same thing. Nesta Silvera did a really good job chasing down a long run. Those big guys running, that shows up on tape. But we're getting some good depth from those guys.
Tom Telesco joins us. So finally, Tom, Andy Dalton's going to play Bryce Young. That's big national news, and they're benching their number one pick overall from a year ago to go with a veteran. You've been in that situation before when it's the next quarterback has to step up. It's the home opener for the Raiders here. Carolina is going to come in really hungry for their first win here with a quarterback that's got a lot of experience in the league as coach prepares the defense for this one with Coach Graham.
Yeah, we've got some work to do this week with the new quarterback, and I know Andy Dalton a couple years ago with New Orleans had a pretty good year with them. But yeah, a lot of experience, a lot of poise in this game. Pretty good athlete to move around in the pocket. And look, every game for us every week is going to be a war. That's just the way it's going to be. This week will be no different. Going into it, we'll perhaps adjust a little bit with having a different quarterback out there, but. As AP said, I think on Monday, we have a lot of things on our side we have to get fixed moving forward, and that's what we're concentrating on right now.
All right, and the fans. I was on the sidelines with you for those open practices, and you mentioned it at the state of the team. I mean, the crowd noise when you just have Raider fans at an open practice really impressed you. Now the home opener, your expectation, your message to these fans as you're coming off a monster win in Baltimore where most of the country and the national media didn't think you had a shot, and now you return home to Raider Nation for the home opener.
Yeah, I can't wait. This is my first home regular season game as a Raider. Can't wait for the atmosphere. Saw a little bit of it just being in Baltimore. I mean, that place it is all purple on game day, and there were a lot of silver and black in that stadium. Certainly when I came out to get a feel for it, and that's Raider Nation. And now we're going to see that in our own stadium, and we got to do our part. We got to play some exciting football and some physical football, and give them something to cheer about. And that's the plan. But I'm looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to this game since I took the job, as far as the first regular season game out there, play in front of our own fans, and I can't wait to get out there.
Thank you, Tom. Congratulations again. We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care. Thank you, JT.
You got it. Tom Telesco, GM of the Silver and Black. Hope you enjoyed that. I did. And he touched on the running game. I mean, look, the coach said the coach was pretty graphic, and I get to interview the coach tomorrow. So I'll have Antonio Pierce tomorrow in the building. And we'll remember every Wednesday we live stream on the Raiders YouTube channel for the first hour of the show or more. So that's tomorrow. But for Tom Telesco to touch on the running game, they got to get better. The running game's got to get better. And we all know that. I'm not going to dive deep and call out every offensive lineman. He said it. It's also the tight ends. It's the receivers blocking. But we know that the offensive line's got to get a better push. And Carolina's, if the strength of Carolina is their defense, it is their defense more so than the offense. So that defense of Carolina is going to want to stay in the game early. I really believe running the ball in this game. I didn't make any bold predictions about Zamir White in game one that he's going to run for 150 yards. Thought he'd have a better start to the year than he's having. And when I looked at when I looked at the film and I really broke it down and went back and forth on it, there were no holes for him to run through. And he's going down easier than I thought. So he's got to break some tackles. Okay, he's a big guy. He's a tree trunk. If he gets hit at the line of scrimmage, he's got to bounce. And that'll come. He's a starting running back now, and Madison's ready to go. But you can tell he's excited about Brock Bowers and what Brock's been able to do and getting Devontae going, getting the stars going. And you hear what he said at the very end? I caught that at the end. He said, we're looking forward to playing some exciting football. Ooh, that's a clue. That is a clue. We need exciting football. We're the sports and entertainment capital of the world. We need some high-flying Devontae stuff. And hopefully the last 12 minutes of the game was spectacular. Let's play that way. Now, there's going to be games with matchups, and we're diving into the matchup starting tomorrow. We're still celebrating that victory in Baltimore. Yeah, I'm still celebrating I'm still celebrating that victory. And we're going to enjoy that for a day or two. But I'm excited because I think they found their identity. As of now, they're a passing team. Gardner Minshew leads the league in completion percentage. He's throwing the ball to guys who are wide open. Now, Devontae does the toe tap, and there's been some difficult catches. Brock Bowers coming back to the ball. But isn't it cool when, Devontae comes over the middle of the field to Jacoby and they get hit in stride and there's no one near him? That's what I told you the strength of this team was. 4 wide, a respectable running back where you got to kind of look for the run, and then you give the quarterback just the fair amount of time, and someone who's not double-teamed is open. That's the plan. Luke Etsy knows it. Jay in Vegas, start us off here locally on 920. Hello, Jay.
Hey, man, I'm with you, JT, man. I'm still celebrating, too, man. In the postgame, you said, man, crack open a couple of Modelo's.
Yeah.
I took you too serious, man. I've been cracking Modelo's even this morning.
That's it. The number one beer in America. Proud partner. Drink those Modelo's.
Absolutely. Look, JT, man, I totally agree with the past game setting up the run, man. Down on my memories on social media, a game came down the memories in 2002 Raiders-Steelers where Gannon went 43 of 64 for 400 yards. And they spread out that defense, that Steeler defense, and it set up Charlie Garner beautifully. I think the Raiders can definitely get back to that. I'm not really too concerned with the run game. Like you said, we could set it up with the pass. But, after these 2 games and rewatching the games, in my opinion, 2 things must be said. I think the defense, is a championship level defense, JT.
I do.
The way they get the push on the defensive line, and mind you, JT, the Raiders still have to get Kuntz back. They still have to get Tyree back. I mean, look at the growth, Jacorian Bennett's growth, major growth over the offseason. He is playing very, very good football. Yeah. So, I look at this defense as a championship level defense. And secondly, the offense, they have weapons, like you said. We got, Michael Mayer. They got,
Trey Tucker,
Jacoby, and then So, but I'm looking for them to just give Devontae and Bowers the ball and just get out of the
get out of the way. Thanks for the call, man. Good to hear from you. It's easy to say, teams are going to make adjustments now. Everybody understand this, that when Brock Bowers played at Georgia, he played big against Alabama, Auburn, and all that, and teams made adjustments. This is the NFL, baby. Carolina is back in Carolina now, and all they're doing is looking at Brock Bowers' tape, and they're going to try to bring a safety down on Brock Bowers. So what I think is going to happen next is you have these defensive coordinators saying, wow, we know Devontae we got to double. We might have to start doubling Brock Bowers. And how do you double Brock? Well, you just bring down a safety, and you have the safety have eye contact on Brock. So when Brock is covered by a linebacker or a nickel corner comes up to Brock to put his hands on him, and then Brock takes off into the linebacker area, into the secondary, a safety sees him and comes down on him. Well, if that's the case, pump fake it to Brock and go deep to Trey. The safety can't cover Brock Bowers and Trey Tucker at the same time, and the other safety double-team Devontae. But you got to have time. You have to have time, and the offensive line has not shown me enough for me to believe that these offensive deep plays are going to develop if they can't sustain their blocks longer. Orlando is in Connecticut on the Raiders mobile app. Go ahead.
JT, what's up, my brother? I got to give you a story about my glorious Sunday watching that game.
Okay.
I ripped my 17-year-old out of his bed. We jump in the car. I go pick up my buddy, Shields up, frequent caller to your show. We hit the highway. We're in Lot A 5 hours later, talking our shit, smoking our shit.
You can't. Goodbye. You can't drop S-bombs on my radio show. This is terrestrial radio. I haven't done this in a while. Let me give everybody an explanation of radio. We have something called the 7-second delay. So when people drop S-bombs and F-bombs, we can drop them. Okay? If you hear it on YouTube or you hear it on my satellite radio show where I do a PG show, so you're now in the penalty box for a show, we'll let you out of the penalty box. This is a clean show where we don't use profanity because I have an FCC license. I have an FCC license and a driver's license and a passport. And I don't want the FCC to take away my passport. Wife's trying to get us to go to Italy next summer, man. Wait till I have to tell the boss. I got to go to Italy. I'm like, what are we going to Italy for? We already been to Italy. She's like, the boys haven't been. The boys need to go to Italy. I'm like, how much is that going to cost me? I just brought in Tito's and Modelo for another year. So I want to keep my passport. So please keep it clean on the radio.
God, I just met a new girl within 48 hours. She wants to go back to Boston with me.
Yeah, well, women like to travel. Women like to travel. My wife's on a little trip now. She's in Victoria, British Columbia with a girlfriend, and they're sightseeing up there, and it's great. And I'm here doing my thing, which is great. By the way, I got the boys coming in town this weekend. Oh, yeah, the crew. The crew. Really? My main crew, the San Diego guys, season ticket holders for the Raiders, they're coming in. Oh, man, do they want to go big? They're coming to the whiskey remote. So people say, JT, how come you don't do more remotes? Remotes typically don't enhance the radio show. Being in a bar, in a crowd, can't see Bobby, can't talk to him. It's like remotes. I've done all the big remotes. I've done remotes in front of thousands of people, tens of thousands at Raider rallies and all of that. So I pick and choose where we do the show. And then Steve Gomez and Modelo says, man, in the black hole, we want to do something this Friday for the home opener. We're going to fly in Gorilla Rilla and Violator and Senior, Lady Raider and everybody. I'm like, really? I'm honored to do that. So Friday, I need you to bail. And I need you to get down to Whiskey Stadium and come to our live radio show. A couple of special guests, maybe over the phone or they're live. I'm asking people to show up. We got prizes, giveaways, all that. And come have some Modelo's, kick back, have lunch. Easy to park. Whiskey has parking right there. And you can just show up. It's right across the street from the stadium, right there. So it's the big bar that they just opened up there. We'll do that Friday from noon to 2. And yes, there will be a Modelo cracked in the 1 p.m. hour. I will reward myself with a Modelo in the 1 p.m. hour, and we'll get that going. Hey, we got a great crowd here in the YouTube feed. See the show live, JT the Brick YT on YouTube, and tomorrow will be on the Raiders YouTube page. For the old timers out there and the people that don't have YouTube, it's very easy. Everybody has it now. It's on your phone. It's in your home. It's on your tablet. You just got to go to YouTube, put in JT the Brick, click subscribe. It's free, and you get all the content for free. So thanks again to Tom Telesco. We congratulate him on his first win. Excited about that. And the monologue brought to you by Modelo. Again, Whiskey Stadium Live, noon to 2. Black Hole and the Superfans will be there. Get ready for the home opener this Sunday. 1-1 going into the home opener. I'll take that all day long. I'll take that all day long. 1-1. 2-0 would have been better because we should have beat those Chargers. But we can work off a 1-1. All right. We say hello to the live chat. I don't mind other beer, but I support the beer that pays me. My dad can't believe, my 86-year-old dad can't believe I get paid to drink Modelo. I said, how'd you pull that off? And it's easy. I get paid to drink Tito's, Remy Martin. What do we got, Bobby? We got Tito's, Remy Martin, Commissarios Tequila, which Bobby had last night. James says 11-6 for the Raiders. 11-6. Woo! Woo! 11-6 for the Raiders. That's a hell of a season. 11-6. Man. Wow. Yeah, we'll see, man. Got to beat Carolina. It's interesting. Normally, I'd be very nervous about Carolina. Nervous. I'm not nervous, but I think the game will probably be close. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be closer than you think. Hello from Phoenix, Louis Garcia. Got people from all over. Got to click like and subscribe. Got to tell your friends about this YouTube channel. Got to let them know. Got to get to 10,000 subs. My son says we're at about 5. We need to double the amount of this audience, and that would be appreciated. Sam says, JT, are you nervous about the red rifle? Yeah, I'd say there's a little bit of nerves there. I mean, I'm more nervous about Mahomes, more nervous about Lamar Jackson, but the red rifle can play. Yeah, he's a good player. Do I think the Raiders beat teams that they shouldn't, but lose to the ones they should beat? No, I think the Raiders are going to win the game. Yeah, Zamir White needs to play better, period. But I don't know if it's the offensive line or not. Michael says, Victoria is beautiful. Hope she goes to the Butcher Gardens. I'm sure she is. What else we got here? Yeah, we had a guy drop an S-bomb. It's not the end of the world, but, you know, we're on the radio. You can't do that on the radio, man. Go Raiders. What do we got? Minshew's a gunslinger. Yes, he is. Balled out in college. Brock is breezing by a safety. I agree. Hit the like button. Yes. We fought 4 quarters at him. Yes. Wore him out. The O-line needs to get better from the Jesse Hill. You're right about that.
Crosby hit second quarter.
Making a change during the game. You can call your own audibles with early cash out on the Caesar Sportsbook Nevada app.
Who am I forgetting on Tuesday? Last year it was Paul Gutierrez. We have him every other Tuesday. We had him last week. Jeff Sherman, yep, we got him coming up from the Westgate. I was just thinking, did Louis do?
I thought we were supposed to get like an alum on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Attention plumbers, HVAC, DIYers, and construction.
Williamson is Thursday.
Industrial Hardware has everything you need for your next project. Open early at South Gator and Russell. McFadden Industrial Hardware, your one-stop shop to get the job done. McFadden Hardware.
I texted Woodson today, Charles Woodson, try to get him for Friday. We'll see what he says he thinks he can, so we'll see that.
Economic Development. Laborers Local 872 is a proud member of Team Vegas. From 1937 to today, Local 872 has been moving Las Vegas for dam extension bridge.
I think Snapple's from where I'm from in Long Island. Always like Snapple.
We still got all that Monday Night Football, by the way.
Yeah.
Brought to you by PT, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
On their own 24-yard line. Jackson under center. A run to Derrick Henry, and he's hitting the backfield like Crosby again. Right through the middle of the line, dropped him for a loss of 1. His third tackle for loss.
Jason Horowitz on the call. That's who we need to get on. We need to get Jason Horowitz on. That's the guy I forgot. How can you forget the voice of the Raiders? We'll get him on the show coming up here. Brock Bowers was a monster in that game. All time in the history of this league, dating back to leather helmets. A rookie tight end's got 15 receptions in the first 2 games. That's incredible. So they're targeting him. He's catching the ball. He's making plays. A lot of people in our chat want to feed Zeus and get Zeus going. I'm good with that. This could be a game where the Raiders come out in the first 10 minutes because Antonio Pierce was hammering the offensive line this week. Let me tell you, I'm not in the building in the coach's room, but I can tell you that offensive line room, I can guarantee you Antonio Pierce is sitting in that O-line room telling guys and pointing out, saying, hey, you didn't do this right. Look at this hole. Look what happened here. You didn't do this or that. Those guys are going to be highly motivated to get going. Yesterday, we had a really good conversation with Rich Gannon. That's up at Raiders.com and on the YouTube feed. We'll probably play that on Thursday. Gannon's amazing. Rich was really excited about the game. But this is kind of a glasses half full moment for the Raiders. You're either glasses half empty, and I've admitted to everybody, my life on the radio as a host has always been glasses half empty. It's a very negative industry. You're always just criticizing people for not doing right things, for losing. You know, I'm a Yankee fan. We win almost all the time. When we lose, we criticize them. We criticize the Raiders when they lose. The Raiders deserve no criticism coming off the win in Baltimore. It's the best win of the season by any football team in the National Football League. The number 1 win of the season was provided by the Las Vegas Raiders in Baltimore. It wiped out Survivor. People are shocked. People can't explain it. So I turned the TV on today. I turned the TV on today. And other than Kay Adams, who had Devontae and Gronk on her show, there's just cowboy talk. I mean, I'm waking up today and people are leading in the A block with the Cowboys. Stephen A's fun. He's calling Dallas Alice. Take the defense out of Dallas. It's Alice. That was kind of fun. The Fox lot in L.A. literally hate the Raiders. Literally, other than James Jones. James Jones, our partner who works on Fox Sports 1, literally the people that work over there just despise the Raiders because they get English muffins and bagels and stuffed animals from the Chargers. True story. I can document it. The Chargers come through with their caravan. They bring bagels and marmalade and stuffed animals, and they kind of get to all the hosts. Here's your bagels for the week. Can you please talk about that? Oh, and then they got Jim Harbaugh, who's real easy to talk about, and they're 2-0. They're 2-0. And who'd they beat? Who'd the Chargers beat? They beat the Raiders week 1, who didn't have their blank together on offense, and they beat the worst team in football, Carolina. So they're 2-0. The 2 wins the Chargers put in the bank. Kansas City's 2-0, and they should be 0-2. 0-2. They beat Baltimore by a centimeter, and then they won this last game on a pass interference by a rookie for the Bengals. Incredible. Hey, I want to go to the Atlanta game last night and fit that in here into our first hour of the show. Kirk Cousins finding London in the 4th quarter. This is one of the greatest comebacks you'll ever see in a regular season game.
Takes a snap. Kirk looks, sails to Drake there. Caught! Touchdown Atlanta! Drake London, for the first time in 14 games, he stands in the end zone, and the Falcons have tied the game with 34 seconds.
That was incredible. That was incredible, and they end up winning the game. Now, I want to go to the Saquon Barkley fumble. This is when the Eagles have the lead. Why did they throw the ball? You got to run the clock down because Atlanta had no timeouts. No timeouts. So if you're going to throw it in the end zone, that's pretty weird. But if you want to go for the kill shot, at least go to the end zone. They threw a screen to Saquon Barkley, and this is what happened.
They're down at 3. Barkley in the backfield.
TV call.
Hurts. Barkley dropped it. Wow. And that obviously stops the clock.
Stops the clock. Nick Sirianni's the head coach. They don't like him in Philly to begin with. He ends up dropping the ball. after the game, Sirianni on the mistakes, the clock, and why they didn't run the football.
Are there decisions you would have done differently in hindsight?
Sure. Like anytime you go and you don't get points on a drive in the red zone, 4th and 3 in the first one, you're like, well, should I have went for that there? And, I went for a 4th and 3 after that, after the completion to Dallas, that got us to 4th and 3. We got that and we got points out of that. So anytime it doesn't work out, that's why I'm sitting in this seat, the head coaching seat. Like, I got to be ready for the consequences of whether it works or whether it doesn't work.
I really believe there's no tougher market to play to be a coach than Philly. It's hard in Boston. It's hard in New York. It's just different in Philly. Yeah. Philly fans just turn on everyone, even the people they like. Remember, Philadelphia, they turn on the bums a lot. They turn on their heroes when they screw up. And that's what happened. Saquon Barkley, after the game, really disappointed that he couldn't close it out.
Dropped the ball. Let my team down today. Shouldn't have put the defense in that position. Made that catch. Game's over. Relax. Went back to my old habits and just got to go back and get back to work.
So he's very accountable there. I think that's important. When you drop a ball, you make a mistake, you got to go to the media and you got to be accountable. And Saquon Barkley did that. Nick Sirianni did it. Last night I'm doing my show from Wynn and I'm watching the game and, I got to get the phones going and, I'm doing a national show talking to every fan that from other teams. And my big takeaway is this 0-2 season is rough. There's this, I've been doing this a long time. I'm doing a podcast with Looney this week. It's our famous 0-2 podcast. We go through all the 0-2 teams. A lot of people thought the Raiders were going to be 0-2. They would have been included. I don't have to include the Raiders in my 0-2 podcast. Baltimore's 0-2. Cincinnati's 0-2. Those are two of the elite teams in the AFC. So follow me here. Jacksonville is 0-2. And I think Jacksonville is going to be 0-3. I think they're going to Buffalo. We play Jacksonville this year. So in order for the Raiders to win the wild card, I'm not saying the division. How dare you? Kansas City is the best team in football. They just beat Cincinnati and okay? In order for the Raiders to dream of a wild card, we need some teams to get eliminated. That would be Jacksonville, Cincinnati, Baltimore. You go down the list. The Steelers. The Steelers are 2-0, and they've looked terrible. Well, they got one touchdown, and they're 2-0. Well, we play the Steelers here in a couple weeks. Cleveland got a big win. They could have been 0-2. I think that win for Cleveland was massive. We get Cleveland in 2 weeks. I thought, Bryce, I didn't expect Bryce Young to get benched. Let's hear from the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. Listen to this. We got some Andy Dalton sound as he was named the starter for this game in Vegas.
I definitely wasn't expecting it. When he told me, it's like one of those deals where it's like, okay, this is one thing I've been praying for, another opportunity, and I've got it now.
Wow. The Red Rockets got the opportunity. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We got to get to him. We got to get to him.
Oh, they will.
We got to get to him. He's not going to be running around. He just cannot have time in the pocket to just play pitch and catch. That cannot happen there. And he's going to go after Jacorian Bennett. I'm saying this is Tuesday, right? I'm going to say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The game plan for Carolina is to attack Jacorian Bennett. Period. He's the youngest player on the team when it comes to experience. Everybody else is more experienced than number 0, and they're going to attack him. And there better be some help for that young man over the top. And I think he'll play good because he's looked really good to me to start the season. We'll go to the Westgate, the Sharpest Superbook, and we'll talk to Jeff Sherman. He's going to join us next. Hey, Alex in Orlando de Castroverde, the best. The brothers win. The brothers have your back. If you get into an accident or injured, put it in your phone. It's easy number. Listen to me. 702-222-9999. 222-9999. You're going to need an accident attorney in this town. The brothers and their legacy of their dad, the brothers win. All right, we'll take this to the top of the hour. Max will sack him 3 times. I would go, I think Max is going to have a big game. Good game. Glenn says, Mad Max, the Red Condor. Why don't I stay on YouTube the entire time? That's a great question. Because usually we stack the show the first hour with the guests, like the GM, the coach, and all that. And I don't want to be on YouTube for 2 hours a day, quite frankly. I mean, some days we'll do it. I mean, I think at this remote on Friday, we'll do it. I don't think 2 hours. That's a good question. Some days I'm going to do it. Some days I'm not. I don't want to be on the camera for 2 hours, the whole show. To be honest, I want to just do, an hour worth of content. We can get an hour out of that. But yeah, fair question. I think there are days we'll go longer than an hour. I mean, we're everywhere now, man. We got a lot of good, I've been doing this a long time. We got a lot of good support now from the Raiders content, the Mad Dog stuff I'm doing a couple nights a week. We're getting a lot out of that. Doing that from Win. And tonight I'm doing a live stream. Thanks for reminding me. Tonight, I think at 5 Pacific or 6 Pacific, depending on when my son gets home from work, we're going to do an hour live stream. So we're going to be doing that tonight. As a matter of fact, let me put that in the chat. More today at JLRLV.com. What Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas. I think they need a running too. Yeah, did he put that? Yeah, I'll do that now. Thanks for the reminder. Well, let's see what Jeff Sherman wants to talk about. Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. Hey, everybody, are there any lines or any gambling questions you got for Jeff Sherman, VP of Risk Management? Is there a game that you think the line is skewed or a game that you want to talk more about? Let me know about that. Let me get you the Raider line here.
This is going to be that Minshew cut coming back about being doubted.
Raiders opened up -7. Now it's 5.5.
Gets bound down to 3.
Man, I just ended my 16-hour fast. Anybody do any intermediate fasting? Just got my alert. Look at that, 16 hours and 16 hours, which means I'm starving. Because I worked late last night. I stopped eating at 8:29, and now it's 12:45. Wow. Southwest Las Vegas on South Rainbow Boulevard and Southeastern Avenue. This truck season, think about all the things you can do with a Chevy truck. You'll be able to. Kenny doesn't fast. Hangry. Fresno in the building. Yeah, home of Derek Carr. We wish Derek well. I have no ill will towards Derek Carr.
Commissarios Tequila, the official tequila of the JT the Brick Show.
Why should people not doubt this Raiders team and what Antonio Pierce is trying to build out there with you guys?
Oh, man, I don't care what they doubt. We believe it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue to get better. We got the right people to do it. Not the right players, the right people to do it. As long as we got that, we're going to be all right.
Congrats on the win.
All right, thank you.
Minshew Mania. JT back with you as we continue. We head out to the super book, the sharpest book, the best book. There's a lot of pretenders out there when it comes to the world of sports gaming. The Westgate is the best. Jeff Sherman joins us, the VP of Risk Management there. Jeff, walk me through last night. Was there money line on Atlanta? Was there in-game on Atlanta as Philadelphia just started to basically blow the game and blow the clock?
Yeah, we actually had more Eagles support, and even on the in play, because a lot of people didn't think that Falcons were going to come back from that one. So it was a very good result for the sportsbooks.
All right, let's move to the Raider victory and how that played out, especially down 10 in the fourth quarter. We've heard about all the survivor pools globally and how many people took hits with Cincinnati and Baltimore back to back. But sitting in the room there over at the Westgate, what did you see start happening with the Raiders as they came back at Baltimore?
Yeah, that was an important game for the book. That was our best result of the day. You know, everyone had their teasers or money line parlays tied up to that, just like you said with the survivor pools. There weren't a lot of people that thought the Raiders could win that game. So even as the in-play went on, we had a lot of Ravens support on that. So that was a solid result.
So the Panthers come in, they make the quarterback change. I know the line moved significantly. How did it move at the Westgate there? Where's the number as the Raiders host the Panthers?
Yeah, prior to the Panthers quarterback change, we had the Raiders as a 7-point favorite with a total of 37.5. We adjusted it down to 5.5, not based on money, but based on adjustment. But then we adjusted the total to 39.5. Saw a lot of support for the over. It got as high as 41.5, settling at 41. So more sharp play on the total, thinking that Dalton's going to bring more points to the board.
Jeff Sherman joins us, Senior VP Risk Management over there at the Westgate. I thought it was really interesting, the Cardinals. I wanted to ask you about coming into this game, the Lions. That's a team I picked to win the Super Bowl. Lions come back to earth here. The Cardinals looked very explosive at home, getting the Rams monkey off their back 10 in a row on that. What type of momentum do the Cardinals have in this game? Where do you have the total?
Yeah, we respect the Cardinals a lot. They actually played a good game at Buffalo in week 1 and just lost it at the end. But to come back and do what they did to the Rams now, the Rams really depleted, especially after losing Cooper Kupp during the game too. But Cardinals handling them easy. We initially opened this Sunday night, Lions 3.5, took some sharp money on the Cardinals. We're sitting at Detroit -3 even. I'm anticipating more Cardinal support now because they look like they're the way that they can put points on the board. The public likes to get behind teams like that.
What's the public think of the Saints now? You know, the public, if they're looking at the Saints in those first 2 games, 15 possessions, 15 scores, they got a big one at home, and the Eagles are coming off a short week.
Yeah, it's. I think we're going to see a lot of that support start showing up for them because it wasn't last week. There was a lot more Cowboy support. That was another game that was a positive result for the books with the Saints winning outright. But now you have them playing the Eagles, and this one has already moved towards the Saints' way. We opened the Saints 1.5 this morning, and it's up to 2.5. Some places touching 3.
Jeff Sherman over at the Westgate joins us. The Niners-Rams. This is a really interesting. This has always been a Niner home game, kind of like when the Raiders go in and play the Chargers there. But Niners travel well there. No Debo. Christian McCaffrey's out, and Purdy played well. But they got a wake-up call from Sam Darnold on that 97-yard touchdown there. And the Rams are decimated with injuries, Jeff. Tell me about the line on this one.
Yeah, both teams just really hurt with injuries at this point. Rams more so. And we have the 49ers -7.5 even. So some places at 7 -20, but at least -7 on the spread. The more noticeable change has been the total with all those players out that you mentioned. Totals dropped from 45 down to 43.
Jeff, finally, can you tell us what's it like, the support for UNLV here in town? Finally, a top 25 team. Rebels have looked really strong.
Yeah, their last win at Kansas, they saw a lot of support at the betting window, including on the money line. So the players did really well with that one. And anticipating their next game, they're off this week, so their next game will be one to look forward to. But we expect a lot of support at the betting window for them because it's the best team that we believe they've ever had.
Is there a lot of support now for the Aces? Is more money coming in on the Aces now that the Liberty are still the favorite for the WNBA?
Yeah, the Aces support has been showing up with the streak that they've been on, and they're looking like the team that we've seen for the past couple of years at this point. So they're sitting at 3-1 for the title, but it's an inviting price. Been getting a lot of support. It's looking like they'll be playing Seattle in the first round of the playoffs, which is a tough team, but one that's dealing with injuries at this time.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great week over there.
All right. Thanks, JT. You too.
You got it. Jeff Sherman. Follow him at Golf Odds. He's an unbelievable handicapper when it comes to golf, and we recommend the Westgate, and everybody head out there and go have a good time there. So the Raiders line has moved significantly. That's what we got from Jeff Sherman and the support now coming in. So if you bet the Raiders, if you were the Raiders here, there's a better number now. There's a better number now in Carolina. That line moved significantly when they made the decision to go to Andy Dalton. It opened up at 7, and now it's Raiders -5.5. Again, I don't bet, but I put the best gamblers and risk makers on the radio, right? We put them on the radio here. Lee Sterling, right? We get Lee Sterling every week. Bill Krackenberger every 2 weeks. Jeff Sherman. Try to put people on the air. So I've been talking a lot lately about what's going on in gambling. Because I got young sons who are 23 and 21, and they're not gamblers. I don't know. Maybe behind my back, they're putting $10 on a game. Who knows? So every year I sit here and I hang out with a lot of gamblers. My local friends here are all gamblers, and they're not degenerates. There's a difference. We all have degenerate gambling friends, like the guy who has to bet on everything. But I got some sharps and some text groups of guys who are betting a lot, and they bet $20 a game or $100 a game. And they're all getting their head lopped off this year. So I get in the text and I say, what's going on? What's the problem? They said the NFL's a mess. You can't make any money. So they're betting college because they feel like they can make money in college. They can look at the lines a little bit, the motivation, the travel, whatever. And you're seeing this in the survivor pools. So if you're going to go to a casino and give them $1,000 to get in their survivor contest and you don't make it 2 weeks, and you're wondering why these casinos have pool parties and the lights are on 24 hours a day, and they'll buy you beer. They'll buy you beer because you're giving them $1,000 to get into their survivor contest. All right. Good luck. Now, people say it's fun. It is fun. I don't have that gene in me where I have to watch a game and have to have money on it. I have friends who do. And they say, I won't watch the game unless I have money on it. Well, that could be a problem. But most people bet responsibly because they just screw around with a couple of bets here and there. They don't have a lot. But then we have the pros. And the pros have to make a living. They got to be right 54, 55, 56% of the time. If I was right in the stock market, I'm in the market every day. If I was right only 55% of the time, I'd be broke. I'd be living under the bridge on the 215 at Russell. My wife would be bringing me soup every night. But some pros want to be right. And the pros are getting their heads lopped off. So what do? I don't know what you do. If you're betting on games, please let us know who you're betting on. Maybe a listener here can get some of that information, and they'll respect your opinion on it. But it's hard this year. So I know there's going to be some Raider fans that are going to lay the 5.5 because the Raiders should win by a touchdown or two. Not going to hear that from me, man. Good. I don't care as long as Carlson puts that through. If Carlson puts that through, man, as long as it's a victory and I get a chance to do the post-game show, I'm excited. Speaking of the pregame show, we'll be live at the Torch. Join us at the Torch. So when you get to a Raider game, a lot of people want to tailgate outside and do all that. I get it. When you come in, come up the escalator, right there to the Torch. Come say hi to Eric Allen and myself. Q will be there before that, doing the pregame show. He does a great job. And that's going to be our plan going forward. Thanks to everybody on YouTube. People said today, why don't you do 2 hours? No, I'll do an hour today on YouTube. We want to get everybody to that YouTube stream, JT the Brick YT. And we'd like you to come join us at Whiskey Stadium this Friday for our live remote from noon to 2. Hour number 2 coming up. Let's get the phones going. I got nothing planned other than me talking. I can talk for 51 minutes, but I don't deserve to. I deserve to hear from Raider fans who are excited about the win. 702-365-9200, the home of the silver and black.
On Monday Night Football 2
right,
on the 23rd.
Thank
Jacksonville
you.
at Buffalo on 12:30.
Thank you. Live stream tonight. So you have this on your phone, right? You follow it on YouTube. It'll give you the alert. Live stream tonight, and that'll be good. So I appreciate it. If you can tell your friends about it, retweet it, do whatever you do. Later to everybody. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, everyone.
From the morning tailgate for all the action, great drinks.